Not gonna lie to you, it's probably easier said than done. It is hard. Like 4 to 5, 6 if I get the miles. I wouldn't really much date or get into anything serious as a trucker. Hey guys, hopefully everybody's doing really good because I sure am. Today we're going to be going over the advantages of being in your 20s as a truck driver, especially your early to mid 20s. Now I'm 29 right now and I am going to be 30, sadly, but time doesn't wait for anybody. So I wanted to create this video because I've been trucking for 2 years now, and the way I set my lifestyle up, I am saving like 4 to 5, 6 if I get the miles, 1,000 a month in just savings, like cash, pretty much. After all my expenses are paid, I keep my expenses really low, and I'm going to show you how I do that, and maybe you will get something out of this. Now, this video is going to be for somebody that probably is getting out of high school, worked dead-end jobs until 2021, and just wants to do something with their life. Now, they're looking into getting a CDL, which I recommend that you do if you feel like you don't want to go to college or anything like that, which I truly understand. College, I feel like, can be a scam, and it is really expensive today. Reason why I'm saying 21 is because at 18 you cannot go interstate as a CDL driver, but doesn't mean you can't go for your CDL and possibly do it around your state. California or Texas would be really great, so you can get some good miles. Sadly, you can't really get hazmat as well until you're 21, so keep that in mind. Now, I'm going to give a little background on me. I did graduate from the University of Florida with a marketing degree, and then I worked for my parents' insurance agency, which they've been around for 18 years. I worked for 5 years, really towards the end of it. I was the bookkeeper. Also had my insurance license, and we were doing around $21 million in premium. Very stressful. That was a lot to keep up with. Very few people in the office, and it was yeah, a lot of weight came off of me when they decided just to sell it, which they started it. So I'm like, okay, and then I decided just to walk away, figure out what to do with my life, rest other than another career. Didn't want to go into the office. I already set up my retirement through the family thing, business. So I wanted to go to a career that I can just go balls to the walls and something different. No office work. Looked at trucking. Looked into it, and I decided just to get in there. It was cheap to get in there too. CDL school was $4,500 at the time, which was 2 years ago. And it was like I did the speed class for like, it was like 3 weeks, every single day, 3 weeks. And it was just fast, and I got it, and yeah, and I've just been hitting the road ever since. Now, I am working for Creed Carrier. They are a really great company, and my salary is probably going to be around $95,000 to $100,000 for the year. But I work a lot. I just came off of 16 days straight of just working non-stop, which you can do this in this industry. It is crazy running on recaps, but I'm staying out for 7 weeks. Reason why I'm doing that, not saying you gotta do that, but I'm just doing it because I'm trying to get days off. I'm going to Europe here in 4 months or so. Now, one of the biggest advantages, especially in your early 20s, that you have is that you can live off of practically nothing. You can keep your lifestyle the lowest as possible. You don't have any bills that you built up from the years prior, and hopefully don't get into credit card debt. That is the worst thing. Stay away from that. I have no credit cards. I have 0 credit cards. I only have 1 credit card, and has nothing on there. So you want to keep your living expenses really low. Like, do what I'm doing. Rent a room out, probably with your parents or maybe a friend, but probably your parents. It'll probably be very cheap. And then hopefully your company has a terminal close by to where you can keep that semi truck there and you can drive there. And just do that for a good amount of years. The first year, you're probably, like I said, you're not going to probably get paid very much. Usually working for the mega carriers, they don't pay crap. They usually pay like $55,000 for the year, but for how long you're gone, not the best. It's not worth it, but you got to do it so you can get that experience to go work for another company that pays more, which that's what I did. Now, let me break it down. Not that I'm showing off to you guys, but just showing you it is possible to do what I am doing and the numbers that I'm going to be putting out. So I just got paid $1,800 in June 20th, and I did put away $1,500 into my savings or my stock portfolio. Then I survived on $300. I try to survive around $300, which makes it around $1,200. So my goal is to basically have my expenses below $1,200 usually, or $1,000, which does sound a little crazy, but I am doing it and it is possible. So just food for thought right there. Best thing to do is definitely try not to have a car payment. I have a Nissan Sentra, which you see right there, and try to negotiate on your rent or room, because I'm barely there, probably 3 days out of the whole month, so there's definitely some wiggle room for negotiations for sure. But yeah, that's how you do it. Just try to keep your expenses really low, and you can do that in your 20s. Let's say that the first year, you're 21, you get your CDL, and you work for a mega carrier making $55,000. This is the time to really work on your expenses to bring them as low as possible and save as much as you can of that money. Now, and you're going to be setting your life up to where you can really ramp up that savings once you get into that second year and move to a better company over time. Now, you save a good amount of money of that, maybe $15,000, and you set up your life pretty well to where you can save even more money once you leave. Now you go into your 22 and you start making $90,000 to $100,000. The way you save your money, your only expenses for the year is, let's say, $20,000. So that means you're putting away $50,000 in savings. And I would recommend, after that $50,000, that you put 25% of it in the stock market. There are plenty of good resources out there to learn investing in different stocks, ETFs, mutual funds. Obviously, I don't want to give that type of advice, but there are many resources on YouTube and people to follow. I would really read up and watch videos about Peter Lynch and Warren Buffett, because I am a big advocate in long-term investing, because you can really benefit from that compound interest over years, and you don't have to worry about looking at your stocks all the time. Like if you're day trading, you got to constantly keep looking at your stocks. Those are stocks you buy for long term and just keep on buying them every month after you get a paycheck and stuff. But yeah, so start learning to invest, take 25% of that, and the rest just put into a savings. Maybe a savings that will give you some sort of return, maybe 5% on interest. Some savings have that, some banks. But so rinse and repeat that process. Not gonna lie to you, it's probably easier said than done. It is hard. You're away from friends and family, especially in your 20s. You want to party and all that, but let's say if you kept on doing that same routine for a good 4 years, you would probably have around $200,000 saved up. Let's say you had great investments and they went up as well. That would probably be around $250,000. If you got really lucky, $300,000. So you have a good $300,000 when you're 25 years old or 26. Now, you're going to be ahead of the game than most people out there. And I'm not saying it's a very, you don't want to feel like you're competing with other people in life, but you also don't want to be that guy that is in their 60s, 65, 70s and working at Walmart, standing up for 8 hours. And I don't think those people want to do that, but they have no choice because they poorly plan their life out. And that's just reality. Life is really cruel. We don't live in some fantasy world like they try to feed us in Disney movies. And it is rough out there. Probably a lot easier for women, in my opinion, but for men, it is rough out there. Dog eat dog world. But yeah, so living expenses is really important. Another thing too is in your 20s, dating. I wouldn't really much date or get into anything serious as a trucker for those good beginning years that I was saying. And reason being is that women need a lot of time and they need a lot of money. Now, I'm not saying that's every woman, but it's a good amount of women, and you might be able to give them the money, but the time, you're not going to give them the time. That could just create some issues. Now, I've heard stories that you have a girlfriend, let's say you're 21, have a girlfriend, and you're like, you know what, I want to get my CDL and go out there and make some money because they make good money. But you don't factor in sometimes that you're going to be gone a lot. And yeah, the woman might agree and tell you to do it, but then once you get in there and then reality really starts to kick in where you're gone a lot and then she needs that attention, well, sometimes it doesn't work out. I haven't heard a good story. Yeah, so I don't know. I prefer not to date. I'm not saying don't have like girls when you go home and stuff and go on dates and have fun, but getting things serious as a trucker, I won't recommend it. Staying single, staying sane, trust me, it's a lot better. No stress, and you don't want to be out here stressing out on the road either. It can really reflect on your driving, of course, and you know what, you're driving a big machine and you want to be safe out there on the road and don't have that type of stuff in your mind, especially if you end up breaking up or something. But if you end up meeting a girl that you didn't date before but met her 5 years from now and you have all that money now, she understands that that's your career and that's what she's getting herself into at that point. So that's a lot different than somebody that's already in a relationship and you're going to get your CDL. And I feel like, I'm not saying don't take women's advice, but I feel like a lot of people regret down the line, from my understanding, they stop their lives for a woman because she's not happy about something. And I just don't want you to be that type of person, regretting that you should have stuck with your CDL and gone the trucking thing. Your life would have been a lot different 10 years from now. Your woman's gone with some other guy, and yeah, I just you wasted all that time. Man, a woman just don't waste your time with that. But that's all. Truly, that's up to you. Another thing too is you have that youth, which is a big thing, and you have that time right there. It's just very important. Fun fact that the average age of a American truck driver is 47 years old. So being 21, you're going to be definitely the minority out there. And once you get to that, let's say, like I said, you get to 250,000 at 25 years old, you have an option right there to do what you want to do. You can either invest that money into real estate, go decide trucking, you get burnt out, and which happens, you get burnt out and you probably want to start a business, or just go to trade school, get that experience in that side of things, or go to college to pursue another career. I had a friend that knew of one of his friends that was a truck driver, and he saved a lot of that money and stuff and decided to leave trucking, or he was studying while he was trucking and he became a nurse now, I think an RN. So there's avenues out of it, but the good thing is you have that cash, so you can, if you go into school for college, you won't get into student loans like all the other people that while you're out there making money and those other people are in college racking up all those student loans. Thank God I don't have student loans, but like I said, there's a lot of people that do have student loans and they're paying it until they're 60 years old. Some people probably die with student loans still from 40 years ago, and you don't want to be that person. That's a lot of stress right there. When you foreclose, but if you go for a bankruptcy, a personal bankruptcy, student loans still stay on you. They just don't disappear like that. Not like a mortgage or credit cards do. Like they stick to you until you are in the grave. So take that advice. The last type of thing I would say is, in your 20s, I would highly recommend that also you take risk. That is you have that time there to take risks. Let's say you get 25, you try to start a business, and they don't work out for you, and you have to close shop, or something happens and you hit a ditch, hit bottom, and you're like, God, but at least you have your CDL, so you can go make some money and try it again. I think you really have a good amount of 2 or 3 tries to really take risks throughout your lifetime, and one thing will eventually catch up, and you start learning from your mistakes as you go in life as well, so you won't make them again. But I highly recommend just take risk. And also, let's say you get into it, you're 2 or 3 years into it, and you saved a good amount of money. Also, maybe you can buy your own truck and work with the carrier as an independent contractor, which I am thinking of doing anyways, coming in next year. I've been noticing that semi-truck prices have been decreasing due to the fact that a lot of these carriers are starting to go out of business. Freight market hasn't been so great, but I want to take advantage of that because I can probably get a good deal for a low mile newer truck, semi-truck, and then I'm going to go with the carrier and use their owner-op program with Creed. I did call them and all, got all the information all about that, and I don't think that's a bad deal. At least I'll have consistent loads for next year, and save up, pay whatever little remaining money I have left on the truck, and then start saving for a trailer. But that's just me. And also I got into the masters of accounting, so one thing I'm going to do, which is probably going off topic a little bit, but you can write off your education expenses through the business, so I want to do that as well. Might as well take advantage of that, and accounting is kind of universal in any type of business, so at least I got into that program. I'm going to be working on all that stuff. But yeah, I would highly recommend becoming an owner operator. Give it a shot. Might as well, if you're going to stick around for a couple more years trucking, and you'll make more money, and also you'll make more money, but also as an independent contractor, also you get that chance to learn how to run a business and work on QuickBooks, work with your CPA on how to organize your QuickBooks. So when tax season comes, it makes it a lot easier for them, it makes it easier for you, and it'll save you money too, because if you get a CPA that you guys are on the same page, you're usually your end of year taxes could be pretty expensive if they got to organize a whole bunch of stuff in your books. But yeah, I would really, that's pretty much the advice I would give you in your 20s right now. That's really how you do it. And yeah, it might sound, like I said, nothing too exciting, but it opens a lot of doors for you. And it's just this type of advice I'm going to give to you guys today. So if you guys have any questions or opinions on what I had to say, please leave a comment below. Yeah, so subscribe and like my content, and hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day. So be safe out there on the road, guys. Bye.